When I picture pilgrims first exploring America and setting up homesteads, I always imagine them encountering a natural ecosystem in balance with the native people living in it. This is what so many of us were taught in school. The land teeming with bison, we learned to envision something like the Garden of Eden. However, millions and millions of bison could also mean something else.
This is an ecosystem that's, geologically speaking, very recently lost almost all of its major predators.
The whole bison phenomenon in North America is a consequence of the extinction scenario, the Pleistocene extinctions that preceded the presence of these enormous herds of millions and millions of animals.
This was a new era for American wildlife. Clovis points are big spearheads that would be fastened to shafts to make weapons for big game hunting. They were made by some of the first people to enter North America around 13,000 years ago. These people, who would eventually become the ancestral groups of Native Americans, were the beginning of the downfall of spectacular giant mammals like the American lion, the short-faced bear, the dire wolf, camels and horses that are actually originally from the Americas, mastodons, woolly mammoths, and the list goes on.
When humans got to North America, we had spent 45,000 generations as hunters. We were really good at this. What we today call the sixth extinction, which we tend to think of as happening just right now, it very likely was set in motion 40,000, 30,000 years ago as humans spread around the world and began taking out one big animal species after another. With horses and camels and mammoths and the other grazing animals gone, bison become almost the sole grazing animal of this enormous grassland that stretches through the center of North America.
With no competition, the bison numbers exploded. In 1839, Thomas Farnham, an explorer and author, wrote, "The country is so thickly covered with these noble animals that when viewed from a height, it scarcely afforded a sight of a square league of surface." Major Richard Irving Dodge in 1871 wrote, "The whole country appeared as one mass of buffalo, moving slowly northward. Only when among them could it be ascertained that the apparently solid mass was an amalgamation of innumerable small herds of 50 to 200 animals. This herd was about 5 days in passing a given point, not less than 50 miles deep."
All the competitors for Western grasslands that earlier forms of bison had confronted, and mammoths, for example, were heavy grazers. There were ground sloths that were considerable grazers. A whole host of creatures that had existed in North America that host has vanished, leaving bison as really the only major grassland animal left. And it's that expansion into vacated niches that allows them to build their numbers into such enormous kinds of figures.
Europeans didn't waste any time continuing the slaughter of the animals of the American West. By the 1880s, there were fewer than 1,000 bison left. The West had fallen silent from rumbling hooves, bellowing, screeching, yelping, and howling.
We're still in the midst of all kinds of extinctions too, so who knows how much we learned from it. The insects are collapsing all around us.
This kind of past doesn't remain in the past. I don't get to see passenger pigeons today because of what my ancestors did. My grandparents got to see them, but I don't get to see them because they're gone. I live in a simplified world that has had a good bit of the magic taken out of it.